Hi there, I'm Susie Perriott. Welcome to Art and Around. This is my studio in Jensen Beach, Florida, where we do painting parties, murals, and all kinds of fun art activities. One of our favorite things is to teach people how to do paintings themselves using simple tricks to make things easier. Today we're going to paint this painting, which is the outline of a guitar, and it's a beautiful sunset with palm trees. I'm using a 12 by 24 canvas. And what I'm doing for the first trick is I'm going to use tape, and I've already marked 6 inches, the halfway mark, on the canvas on both sides. And this way we're going to get a perfect straight horizon. There you go. So you want to make sure your tape is pressed all the way down nice and tight. And I use painter's tape, so it's super easy to come right back off. All right, so there's trick number 1. So you can see the horizon will stay kind of straight. On my original, the horizon's a little bit taller, and it made the guitar off-centered. So for you guys, I've straightened that out. The next trick is to take some sticker paper, and you want to make a perfect circle. Now I have a machine that does it for me, but you guys can just draw a circle on there, a half circle, cut it out, peel it off, and you want to find the center, and you want to put that right above your tape. And that's going to represent the sun and also the center of your guitar. And you're going to paint right over that, so make sure that that's also sticking straight down too. Good. All right, the next thing that we're going to use is I'm going to show you the paints that we're using today. We're using a deep yellow, yellow ochre, and a red ochre. I also have large bottles of black and white for later. So for the starters, we're going to grab a palette knife. So today this is the palette knife that we're using, and this palette knife is a plastic palette knife. It is angled and it's flat on the end. And you can pick them up at any craft store. You can get them in a pack of 5 or single. They're not real expensive, usually less than $1. I'm going to show you how I load. I'm going to take a little bit of yellow ochre, a little bit of yellow, and a little bit of the red ochre. So all 3 are on my palette knife. I'm going to start on the left, and I'm going to just press and drag across. Then I'm going to pick up some more. And I'm going to mix it up just a little. And then I'm just going to start blending them back and forth till we get full coverage. I am going to take this painting down now so we don't get it messed up, and I'll put it back up in a few minutes. And I'm going to keep reloading, and I'm going to keep going back and forth until you just love the way the sky looks. Now it looks very dark to me, so I'm going to be using a lot more of the 2 yellows right now. And you're just going to keep loading until you just love. Now I like my horizon line to be a little bit lighter and the top to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to get some more paint up there. If you get the canvas showing, just reload. There you go. And it's going to start looking like a sunset of a sky. And you guys can use any colors for this. You could do your pinks and blues. You could do oranges. There really is no limit to the colors. Go right over the tape, right over the sticker. Picking up a little bit of the dark here to go to the top. Use lots of paint. You don't want any white spots showing. Some people prefer to do this lying flat because they don't get the bumps as much from the wood on the back of the canvas, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, I'm going to go back and add a little texture in here. All right, we're almost done with the sky already. I'm going to go into my bright yellow for the very bottom. There we go. Now, you want to just look at it and see if there's anything you want to change before you stop with your sky. And I'm kind of liking it. Make sure you have no stop marks from your knife. And if you want to be real creative at this point, you could put in a few little clouds. Good. All right. I'm liking my sky. So your sky is done. So the next step is to wash off your knife. Use a little paper towel and dry it off. All right. We are going to lift our tape from the back. And then we're going to take the knife, go right underneath that sticker, press a little, and lift. And there is your sun. So you can see how fast and easy that went. All right, next step is to start putting in some black so we know where our horizon is. So I'm just going to take a little bit of black. All right. So now to apply my black, I'm going to use a 1-inch knife, flat wash. It's called a flat wash 1-inch, and I love the Simply Simons. And I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to start my little island there, just like that. That's it. Now I'm going to take my canvas and turn it over, and I'm going to paint the water just like I did the sky, upside down. And I'll reload all my colors. I'm going to have a list of all these colors on my website. You can download a copy of all these directions. Our website is artandaround.com. Don't forget the dashes. We have dashes in there, so it's art-and-around.com. All right, so here we go. Now we're doing the water, and we're upside down. So we're going to just start with a little bit of the dark and lots of the yellows, just like we did the sky. I like to do a little bit of a Z action when I'm doing the river part, the bottom, where the reflections are going to be, when I'm floating the paint across. So it really looks like a river. Okay, we're almost done. Now you just want to make sure that you like the way it looks. I'm going to go back over wherever you feel you want to add a little dark or light. You can go in and just pick up those colors and put them on there. Any lumps or bumps you're going to wipe out at this point. All right, so I'm looking at it and I want to put a little bit more light right in here. Careful. There we go. And our river is done. Just like that. See how easy? All right, wash your knife. And you're going to flip your canvas back over. And now we're going to go for the guitar shape. So what we're going to do, get that back up there so you can see. We want to go shorter here, down, dip down, go around. So what I've done is I've made like a little stencil here, and you can download this again. And then you're just going to, and I only made a half. So you're going to cut it out. And you will have to tape 2 pieces of paper together to get a big enough guitar. And once you cut out that top shape, you're going to have half a guitar like that. Okay? And you're going to just kind of place it right there. Now it's kind of wet, the canvas still, so we don't want to lay it on there. But you can take any brush at all. I'm going to take a liner brush, and you're just going to make like little indentations where it's going to go. You want to let it dry at this point and then lay it flat on there, you can. But for the sake of time today, so that we can get this done really quick, I'm just going to go ahead and eyeball it. So it's going to go, and my top part's going to go there, there, there. Make sure we're getting on the right page. We're doing great. Okay. And down. And then you're going to turn it over, and you're going to do the same thing on the bottom. You're just going to eyeball it and give yourself little dots to give yourself the shape. So your reflection is a mirror, okay? So I think I went a little bigger. Let's see. Yeah, let's go a little bigger here. Good. All right, so now those are hard to see. You probably won't be able to see them on camera, but you will be able to see them on your wet paint. So you have a guideline of where you're going. So now I'm going to start my palm trees. You're welcome to use any trees for this. Palm trees are lots of fun. And I'm going to draw my palm trees with a 3/4 inch white bristle flat brush. I'm going to use black. And I'm just going to start with this palm tree right here, coming right up and keeping that shape of the bottom of the guitar. And I'm going to make it a little bit thicker at the bottom. And then I'm going to draw just a few of these little branches and maybe one tucked down. Again, if you let your painting dry, you won't be blending quite as much, and it'll be darker. Now I'm going to make some smaller palm trees. And maybe a bent one, and then let's make that one really tall. Go ahead and put on your palm fronds. Okay, now we're going to go right through the sun or the moon, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a sun. Paint. Nice big one right there. If you want to use a skinnier brush for the palm fronds, instead of the 1-inch brush, I tend to use a 1-inch brush for everything, but some people like to use a super skinny to draw these. And that's fine, whatever brushes you're comfortable with. But for the sake of going kind of quick today, I'm kind of using all one brush so that everybody gets the ideas. This one I'm going to kind of curve like the first one. And we're starting to really blend with some of that wet paint. So feel free to let yours dry before you move on. All right. So now we have just the basic layout. So I'm going to show you one of my favorite brushes next. This is my favorite brush. It's called a rake brush, and it's cut out at the top, and it has little holes. And when you get it wet and then dip just the tips of it in the paint, it makes perfect little leaves on the palm fronds. Isn't that pretty? I don't know if the camera can see that or not. But you always want to go in the same direction that the palm frond that you drew is growing. And this is where you can see where you need to add a few extra. And it's coming together quite quickly. And this is where I love when it mixes with the wet paint, because the color has a little kiss of sun on it now, on these little palm fronds, which is fun. All right. So we're halfway done. The next part is going to be the reflection on the bottom. If your brush starts to make a little mud, you might want to wash it and reload. Sometimes these brushes get a little tired when working in the wet paint. They want to get a little bath, and I love to just freshen them up. All right, so we're getting muddy, so I'm going to give it a good wash, dry it off, and start over. A little water, and just the tips in black. I'd love to hear from you if you do this at home. Send me pictures. Share it with your friends. Okay, that one's kind of wet. So when that one dries a little, I am going to go back and put a little more black in there. But now I'm ready to start my reflection. And then the last thing that we'll do is the rest of the land, okay? So for the reflection, I'm going to go back to my 3/4 inch white bristled flat wash brush, and it's wet. I'm just going to touch to get the extra water off, and I'm going to make sure I load it nice and flat, chisel edge, like that. And I'm turning it sideways, and here's all my little marks so I know where I'm going. So I'm going to start at my little reference points, going just straight back and forth, little Z's. And under the palm trees is where I really want a lot of my marks to be. And this is the way that we're going to get the shape of the guitar on the bottom. So go ahead and get your reference points all the way across. I love to do a painting, and I used to do fine art, but I found that it took so long to accomplish a painting, and I really like getting things done quickly. So these little cheats that I'm showing you make it super fast and simple. Oh, I got to get some more palm fronds in there. And you can go home or do this with your friends and have a painting right then and there, which is kind of fun. All right, so now I didn't do too much black right in here because this is where I want to get my reflection of the sun. So I'm going to wash my brush really good and dry it with a clean paper towel. And then I'm going to get some white, and I'm going to do the reflection of the sun right underneath. Then I'll go back and add a few more touches to it. So I want to keep the round shape here. So it's the exact opposite. Just like we flipped the shape of the guitar, we're going to flip the shape of the sun. And that's where we want our reflection of the sun to be. In the shape of a half circle, but upside down. And if you need to do a reference before you start, by maybe putting some dots on there, that's fine. Might help. Yeah. Step back and see if it looks like a half circle. Looks pretty good. All right, so I'm going to wash my brush, and now I'm going to go in and really, really load up those reflections and finish the land. All right, so let's see. Right under this one, I want to get some skinny ones and a little one there. All right, I think I'm ready to start the land. Let this dry up just a little. Really getting that outline shape in there darker. All right, so for the land, you're just going to take your flat brush, chisel edge, just like this. You're going to touch and just kind of flick up very lightly, making some grass, different directions. Just flick upward. Not too much paint, just a little. Just making some little grass. All the way to the other end. All right, now we're going to make the island a little bit thicker. We're still pretty wet. You might have to wait here for it to really show because we used lots of paint putting on that background. So at the end here, we're going to represent the knobs that you turn on a guitar. So we're going to make 3 little palm trees and 3 reflections. And then we're going to go back and just put a little bit more black inside of the sun reflection to represent the strings of the guitar. All right, so let's get a skinny brush, and we're going to make the 3 little palm trees on the end, and that's going to represent our, see this little skinny 1-inch brush, or I'm sorry, size 1? All right, palm tree 1, 2, and 3. Make little tiny tops on them. And then we want to come right underneath and make the reflection. And the reflection is just a little kind of messy. And now we're going to come in and make these guitar lines, like a representation of the strings, all the way across, even in the reflection. And we're going to stop right at the end here and just leave just the island there. Now I'm going to go back and just see if anywhere where my paint didn't really pick up because it was so wet, and just do some more highlights of the palm trees. Make them a little darker. Step back and look at it. Let it dry a little. Take down our original. Lift it up a little bit. And what we're going to do now is sign your name using your number 1 skinny. And you have a painting. So my name is Susie. Thank you so much for joining me. Visit us at artandaround.com. Don't forget the dashes in there, art-and-around.com. Download the design if you'd like. Email me any questions.